The famous line.
Kid cheered when I left the 10 pin, and that's what I really wanted to say. I shot 300 my very first game, and they handed me $100. Dad was one of the 33 members that put up $50 apiece to start the PBA. There was a time there that I thought about quitting. What I've done together with my dad in bowling, that means more to me than anything. And it came out, who do you think you are? I am. Hi, this is Pete Weber. You're watching the Pat Imig Sports Network. Get pissing.
That's going to live forever. It's Sports with Pat Imig today at Concord Bowl and Recreation, right off Tesson Ferry Road. And we are really excited and honored to be joined by the man who has won over 100 PBA Tour titles. Started at the age of 17, Rookie of the Year in 1980, and here he is with us today, Mr. Pete Weber. Pete, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. Trust me, it's a pleasure to be here.
Well, we're glad you're here. I mentioned, the PBA 50 Tour, so that season is in swing right now. So just give us a quick rundown of what you're looking at the next couple of months.
Well, we just went to Florida and had our first stop. Finished in the top 8. So I feel good about that. After the first day, it was like I got a lot of bonus bowling going. So it was kind of neat to get to the top 8. Now we got a couple weeks off, but when we leave in a couple weeks, it's going to be gone for about 3 months.
Wow, okay.
Because we got the World Series of Bowling in Minnesota this year, and actually we have 3 or 4 TV shows that's going to be on national TV, and that's like the first time in 10, 15 years it's been on national TV, so that's a big boost for us.
Very nice. So do you, whether it's currently or even just from your career, do you have, aside from St. Louis, is there a favorite lane that you're like the most comfortable at, or a city that you, when you think about, oh, I'm going here, and it just kind of gives you that that extra mojo?
Indianapolis has always been that way for me. I mean, I've won multiple regionals in Woodland Bowl. I won a U.S. Open at Woodland Bowl. I won a Touring Players Championship at Woodland Bowl. I won a Tournament of Champions at Woodland Bowl. So that's got a real special place in my heart. And it's Dad's hometown.
There you go. Okay, so for the younger viewers here that maybe did not know, your dad, Dick Weber, a pioneer in St. Louis and all of bowling. St. Louis was really like a hot spot for bowling, was home to the Bowling Hall of Fame when you were growing up and in your early years. Just take us through that. Like, was this when people, is this where like all the big stars came for the big tours, the big tournaments?
Well, back in the 50s, Don Carter and Ray Bluth went to Indianapolis and recruited Dad for the Budweiser bowling team.
Okay.
Which in the 50s, team bowling was it. You had the Budweisers, the Falstaffs, the Pabst Blue Ribbons, the Miller teams, all over the country. And they would meet in bowl tournaments. And then like late 50s, like 59, I think the PBA was actually formed. And Dad was one of the 33 members that put up $50 apiece to start the PBA. And the PBA's been going ever since, so he was one of the founding fathers of that. And then he won, I'm not sure, but I'm thinking like 4 out of the first 5 PBA tournaments he won. So, he started off really good, and he's kept the PBA going through the 60s, 70s, and in the 80s he was one of the pioneers that formed the senior tour that I get to bowl on now. So, Dad's been a real pioneer. I'm sorry, but he's the greatest ambassador to the game of bowling that's ever lived. Johnny Petraglia and Carmen Salvino are trying to fill the shoes, and they're doing a hell of a job doing it. So, it's great to see those two still alive and still working for the PBA.
So Dick Weber is to bowling what maybe Arnold Palmer was to golf. Is that fair to say?
Maybe not quite as big an army as Arnie had, but yeah, Dad was a very big name in bowling, known across the world.
So you grew up in bowling. What's your first? Do you have like a first memory of when you fell in love with it, or was it something you just instinctively thought you'd be doing? Like, just take us through young Pete with your first interactions with bowling that you remember.
Well, the first thing I remember about bowling is I was about 4 years old, and Dad let me like push the ball down the lanes, and then I think when I turned 5 that I got the hand-me-down ball from my oldest brother Rich, my sister Paula, my brother John. Little black ball with gold stars on the side, 6 pounds, and I got to start using that, and that's how I started bowling actually. Then as I got a little older, I started taking it a little more serious. I guess when I was about 12, I knew what I wanted to do with my life. I wanted to be a bowler, period. That's just, I spent 4 hours a day in the bowling center from
Wow.
the time I was probably 11 till I got my driver's license. And then you don't want to do nothing but drive, so.
Sure, sure.
But 14, I moved up to the men's league. I shot 300 my very first game after
Wow.
I signed my application. And then they handed me $100 after that. And I was like, wow, I'm making money now. So, and then from then on, it's been, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I really wouldn't trade my career for the world.
That's awesome. I got to imagine that your first game, you bowl a 300, you get paid $100. Were there some people that were a little envious of you, or maybe that didn't? How were you received? I guess being the young prodigy that was bursting on the scene, and then also being that your last name is Weber.
Well, I don't know how people actually perceived me back then. I felt like I was pretty well liked because I knew everybody I was bowling with already.
Right.
From bowling, just maybe practicing with them, or maybe bowling a match against them that Dad set up. And so, I just liked making money. That's what it was all about.
As you're progressing and you become the rookie of the year, and you're still 18, and I was talking to the guys before you got here. I'm like, God, think about when you were 18 and like just the decisions and the judgment that you use on things, and then being thrown into like this professional mainstream sport. I got to imagine you had a lot of fun. I also got to imagine it was probably stressful at times too, wasn't it? For being, even though you're 18 years old.
Oh yeah, I mean, getting thrown into stuff like that, I mean, you're very acceptable to just about anything because you're not going to say no to your peers. And
Sure.
so, there was a time there that I thought about quitting in the early 80s because I wasn't doing very good. But I started practicing and I got better, and then I finally won, so I kept going. And I just, ever since then, I've loved bowling. I'm pro PBA. I love the PBA. I think what they've done is fantastic. So, it's just, and I'm thankful for what I got now, I don't bowl with the kids anymore because they're too good. So, I just bowl with the seniors and do what I know what I can do.
So, along the way, you pretty much were like the first, as this was getting broadcast and picked up on ESPN, and you were more or less the first viral athlete or viral bowler before viral was even really a thing. People would tune in just to see your reactions, let alone how you were going to bowl. Right, the PDW. So that was like the Rob Van Dam thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's
so
exactly where I got it.
Were you a huge Rob Van Dam fan, or you just kind of did it in the spur of the moment? Like, how did that come about?
Well, I'm a big WWE fan. I've watched WrestleMania as soon as I got home from Florida.
Nice. We were watching it as well.
I watched Monday Night Raw. So I'm a huge wrestling fan. I know them all. I actually got to meet J.D. McDonough.
Right on, yeah.
And then he said, do you mind if Dominic Mysterio comes out? He's a huge fan. I was like, Well, what am I going to say? No.
Right.
So he came out, but the RVD, yeah, he was going RVD, just saying Rob Van Dam, but his initials. So instead of Peter David Weber, it was PDW.
Did that continue, or was it a one-time thing?
No, that continued for a while. Actually, back in the mid 80s, late 80s, when I was animated back then. It was unacceptable. It wasn't Dick Weber, And I never claimed to be Dick Weber, and I didn't want to be Dick Weber. But if anybody knows Dick Weber, knows he was a ham in front of the TV. So don't give me any shit about that.
So he was okay with this.
Oh, he was 100% behind me. I mean, him and my mother were my two biggest fans. They would defend me no matter what. So yeah, my mom and dad were 100% behind me no matter what I did.
From an ambassador standpoint and a growth of the game standpoint, that was, in my opinion, that's needed, right? So because you at that point you kind of transcend not just bowling fans, but then there's non-bowling fans that see it, and maybe they become fans as well. So was that something after you kind of got that rolling with being animated? Was it something you were conscious of, or was it just straight spur of the moment, always natural and organic?
Well, I didn't stand in front of the mirror rehearsing it, that's for sure. But, back in 2000, Steve Miller was the commissioner of the PBA. And he came to us, the first TV show that we were going to be in. He says, guys, you can do anything you want and we won't find you. So I was like, free reign.
Wow.
Well, I mean,
Carte
that's where
blanche.
the crotch chop came in. That's
Right.
where the PDW came in. That's where the fist pumping came in. And people actually think I'm trash talking the other guy. But if I'm trash talking the other guy, he started it, not me. I never started anything.
And that also kind of plays into the fans.
Bad boy.
Right,
the
right.
bad boy, which I have no problem doing, Somebody's got to do it. And, Dad was all for it. Mom was all for it. Dad always told me, be yourself. Don't ever change. I've always been myself.
It's definitely paid off. So you also, you mentioned you're a fan of wrestling, WWE, you watched WrestleMania. What did you think of the CM Punk Roman Reigns match? We were watching that. I thought it was fantastic, but...
I thought it was too. I really enjoyed that. But, I think the best match of the whole WrestleMania was the ladder match.
Okay.
My boy JD, he took a beating. Oh, I felt so bad for him. But I thought the ladder match was the best match.
So when you, let's go back to JD McDonough, when you meet Dominic Mysterio, did he and he mentions he's this huge fan, did he have certain moments that he became a fan of you that he told you about, or?
No, he didn't really. He was just all smiles, He was like, it was like I was starstruck with him. It seemed like he was starstruck with me too, which to me that humbles me because I don't expect these guys to really know who I am. So when I got to meet him, I was very humbled, and me and JD actually had the same shirt on, so it was kind of cool.
Nice.
And everybody was so nice, and I just, if next time they're in town, I'm going again. So
Yeah, me too. So I'm going to put you on the spot here. If you had to pick, and I'll let you say, I'll say three, unless you know the exact one. Who's your favorite performer, wrestler of all time?
The Undertaker.
That was
That's
quick.
There is nobody bigger than The Undertaker to me. He's just awesome.
The fact that character still actually stands the test of time, it's pretty impressive. Did you know that his original manager, well, I'm going to really nerd out here. His original manager was Brother Love, but then they brought in Paul Bearer. Did you know he was an actual mortician in real life?
Paul Bearer?
Yes. His original
I think
manager.
I read something about
Yeah.
that, but I wasn't for sure, so.
That's when you know you found the right guy, right? Is there anything you're looking forward to here in the next few weeks as far as the fallout from WrestleMania?
Well, it seems like CM Punk is done with Roman. Anything that happens doesn't surprise me anymore.
Right.
It's like a men's soap opera.
Oh, for sure, 100%. That's why
it's fun to watch, and people think it's not real. Let me hit you in the back with a steel chair. See how much you like it.
You heard the man. Yeah, I mean, you can call it predetermined, but those guys take a beating, and they're amazing athletes. I mean, today especially, the way that it's evolved, whether you're 7 foot or 5'10", these guys can all move quicker. It's crazy.
Some of the things they do anymore compared to like the 80s
Sure,
is unbelievable. Flying off the top ropes and jumping off the top of the thing onto the table. Don't tell me that doesn't hurt somehow.
80s, did you have, before The Undertaker, who was your guy that you really enjoyed following in the 80s?
Well, I was younger then, so it was Hulk Hogan, what you gonna do?
That's right. When the Hulkster runs wild on you and PDW runs wild on you.
Yeah, I would say that every once in a while. What you gonna do when PDW runs wild on you?
See? This is good. I like this. So you are kind of I guess in a way, you are the closest thing to a pro wrestler that the PBA has ever seen.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I really don't have the body for that, but I can act like it. I can do a couple of the moves. So
the showmanship and the promos are what keeps people coming back. So one of your most famous moments. Take us to the backstory. What caused you to say the famous line?
Who do you think you are? I am.
It was the U.S. Open in 2012. I was bowling Michael Fagan, and I left the 10-pin, and the kid cheered when I left the 10-pin. And you can cheer, but don't cheer loud enough for me to hear. So he did, and it was. I said something like, something with sportsmanship, pal. I don't exactly remember.
It's called sportsmanship, pal.
But he did it again, and then he would move while I was on the approach. So when I struck to win, I turned around, throw the glasses, and I wanted to say, who do you think you are messing with me in my house at my tournament? And that's what I really wanted to say. And it came out, who do you think you are? I am. So, it became a famous line for a little while. And then, like 3 or 4 years ago, it's become really huge. I'm getting asked to do card signings. People send me stuff.
And
they send me the money in the mail, too, to write the quote on there. And as long as they send me the money, I'll write the quote on there. Like Leaf trading cards that is the official card of the PBA now. I do a lot of signings for them in a year, so it's kind of neat to see this still going on.
Let's take it. He's got the clip pulled up. So, how many times do you think you've seen this clip? From
Oh, I've seen it a lot.
It's amazing.
It seemed like in 2020, when the COVID was going on, it just happened to pop up.
People had more time to look at videos,
ever since then, maybe since 2022, it's just really taken off again. And, I did a national card signing in Chicago at the big trade show, the card trade show. Mike Albee was there. There were some other sports figures there. And, it was really cool because the Leaf did imitate Pete Weber doing the who do you think you are? I am quote, and I got to pick the winner.
Did they try to take this and morph it into something else?
No,
No?
they pretty much kept it right at who do you think you
Okay.
are? I am, and well, a couple guys threw the God damn it, I did it, and who do you guys think you are? I am, So it was kind of fun. I think it was the second guy that actually won because he just
And after
wow,
that,
was
yeah.
pretty good, So
The play-by-play announcer on that clip also, I mean, I know the clip is you, but that was a fantastic call. I think that kind of like was a spark plug for that whole sound.
I really didn't even know what he was saying until I watched it. So it was kind of a surprise to me. But yeah, he strike to claim it, And then Randy's always got something to say.
When you think of your career, you've won the most U.S. Open titles. Was the U.S. Open, was that always something that you meant a little bit more to you, or do all the major? How would you characterize the major championships, I guess, for you?
Well, for me, the U.S. Open is in any sport is the grand tournament. The U.S. Open, the United States Open, and to win it 5 times, that's pretty cool. That means I pretty much excel at that tournament. Which, in that tournament, if you don't make your spares and take advantage of what you get on certain pairs, you're not going to win. And if you're not getting good breaks either, you're not going to win. But it's one of the hardest tournament of the year, just like the U.S. Open golf tournament. Don't hit it in the rough.
Right.
All right. So, it just excels that much more over all the other tournaments. Then, I'd probably say the Players' Championship. That always means a lot to the guys because that means you're the best player of the year for just the touring players that are bowling.
Right on.
The Tournament of Champions, of course, that's always a good tournament to win, especially because it eluded our family until 1987. And Dad was sitting right there when I won, and I actually looked at the camera and said, Dad, this ain't mine, this is ours.
That's awesome.
So, and people think they compare me and Dad as careers. I don't compare mine and Dad's career. It's what we've done as a family. We've won 67 titles, national titles as a family. We've won 100 and something titles as a family. It's not Pete's better than Dick or Dick's better than Pete or Dick has more class than Pete. I really don't care about that. It's what I've done together with my dad in bowling. That means more to me than anything.
That's awesome. The shades. If I don't ask you about the shades, is that a part of your wardrobe, or is it actually helping you bowl? I guess.
Well, people think that I'd put them on because I was the bad boy of bowling, But actually, the real reason is when ESPN first started, they used a lot of lights on the lanes, so. There was a light shining down right in the middle of the lane where I wanted to look. So I said, you need to move the light. And they looked, no, we don't. So I was like, oh, okay. So a guy, Eric Forkel, came over and said, here, try these. They're a pair of dark sunglasses. And I put them on, and I could see. That's why I put the sunglasses on. And then after the fact, yes, it did add to the bad boy of bowling profile. So
yeah, that worked out.
But it wasn't, I didn't put them on for the bad boy. I put them on to take the glare out of the lane.
And as you say that, I stare at this light and
Yeah.
wish I had sunglasses.
They are bright.
Right. Well, if high school kids wanted to be a professional bowler or anybody, what advice would you give them for today?
Well, bowling in high school today is a lot different than, say, when we went to school, because they have high school programs very rarely back when I was in school. But they got that SMART program now, too, to where they can actually bowl adult tournaments as a junior, win money, and put it in their SMART account for college. So I would say in high school, try to bowl more adult tournaments because you get more experience. You get to bowl against better bowlers, which always makes you a better bowler. And make your spares. That's the most important thing about bowling. It's not all the strikes you throw. How many spares can you pick?
There you go. That sounds like a quote for the ages, actually. That's Pete Weber. Sam wanted me to ask you too, your favorite bowling movie before we get out of here. And I just remembered that because I'm looking at it. Do you have a favorite bowling movie?
God, none of them do any justice for bowling.
We're gonna cut that out then.
I guess I'm partial, but Dreamer.
Okay.
That was the one that they supposedly made about Dad. That me at the time, me and my girlfriend, I took her to see it. We were the only ones in the theater, so it's just really bad. Kingpin didn't really do anything for bowling. The worst one? Oh, I think Kingpin's the worst one because it doesn't really give anything about professional bowling. We don't look like that. We don't have a clear. Well, we might have a clear ball with a rose in it, but it's just not something you're really going to see in bowling.
You're not drinking White Russian.
No.
He's not drinking White Russians. Maybe this is our cue to put together the Pete Weber screenplay then. Who would play you? Do you have somebody that would play you?
Oh, wow.
And it could be someone from the past too, because I don't.
Just offhand, I'd probably like Michael J. Fox to play me. He's short. He's been in a couple movies. He knows how to bowl a little bit. So, but Michael J. Fox. And if I had to pick somebody else, I'd pick Christian Slater.
Wow, how about that? Wasn't expecting that answer. We want to thank Dan Beeman and Concord Bowl and Recreation. You mentioned it a little bit off camera, but if you don't mind, just tell us about why you enjoy Concord Bowl, St. Charles Lanes.
Oh, I enjoy Concord St. Charles because, for one, Dan owns them. Dan cares about the bowlers. He takes care of the bowlers, always has something to do for them, whether it be in football, baseball, basketball, whatever. He always has he has joint leagues, like a Tuesday night bowls a Friday night league, and they bowl a championship. So Dan is a great proprietor because he cares about bowling and he cares about his customers. So that's why I like to come to Concord and I like to go to St. Charles.
That is Pete Weber, the man himself. Pete, it was great to speak with you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. It's been an honor.
Well, we're glad that you spent some time with us today, and we appreciate everybody tuning in. You can make sure you follow all of our content, Pat Imig Sports Network on the socials, at GETPISN, and on YouTube, of course, as well. For Pete, for Zach, for Sam, and for Dan Beeman and everybody at Concord, they're starting to fill up actually right now, a little bit.
Yeah.
Still early in the day. Thanks again so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.
Peace.
Pat Imig Sports Network, dropping value like clockwork. If you really want insight, get it right. Watch the videos every single night. From the tip off to the touchdown, I break it down. Sports talk royalty, I wear the crown. Dynasties rise, legacies never fall. Every win got a story, I tell it all. Last minute buzzer beaters, ice in the vein. Post game speeches and champagne rain. From the World Cup heat to the Super Bowl lights, calling plays in the zone. Open up your eyes, Imig Sports Network, dropping value like clockwork. If you really want insight, get it right. Watch the videos every single night. Pat Imig Sports Network, dropping value like clockwork. If you really want insight, get it right. Watch the videos every single night. Talking MVPs, yeah, I see the vision. Grinding for the chip, this is more than a mission. Trade talks, headlines, locker room vibes. Breaking news quicker than a 40-yard time guide. Eyes on the court, hard in the ring. Every athlete's journey, I let that sing. Olympic gold to college ball pride. If it's clutch, I got it covered worldwide. Pat Imig Sports Network, dropping value like clockwork. If you really want insight, get it right. Watch the videos every single night. Pat Imig Sports Network, dropping value like clockwork. If you really want insight, get it right. Watch the videos every single night. Lights on, game on, no cap when the game's strong. Underdogs to the Hall of Fame, every win got a name. Pat Imig Sports Network, dropping value like clockwork. If you really want insight, get it right. Watch the videos every single night. Pat Imig Sports Network, dropping value like